What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back, and it is time for the very first presser reaction of the season, of the Premier League season, people. Yes, and hearing the first question in the presser made me go, oh, we'll get into that in a bit. We got a few things to discuss in this one. As I put in the early community post as well, I'm going to be doing the early Premier League predictions, but we will revisit it once the window shuts. And I think you guys might be surprised with a couple of my selections, but I'm interested to get yours in the live chat. And obviously, if you don't see it live, put it in the comments after the video's done. But what I would say with predictions, people, they're my predictions. They're not yours. Don't take offense. Don't get your knickers in a twist. It's all good, people. But I've got to say, I'm very excited for the league season ahead because it's Premier League football. This is what I like. I haven't enjoyed the last 2 years, as you guys have clearly seen as well. But it's going to be good to get back in the Premier League swing. Now, by game week 10, I could be looking like this. Welcome back to the channel, people. We're back. But right now, I got a spring in my step, people. So listen, what we saying here. Chris, I like what Farke had to say. I like some of it, Chris. I didn't like one bit, though, and we'll get into that in just a moment. Sai in the house. What's going on, Sai? Afternoon. Hope you're fitting well. No idea, but what I'm feeling confident about Monday night, going for a 2-0 home win. Okay, this isn't going to be the preview one, but shout out to you, Sai, for the super chat. Thank you so much. This isn't the preview. I'm going to come back with the preview for both teams of what managers have had to say, and then we'll do our predicted teams and everything else. I'm going to probably do that on Sunday. Okay, so what we're going to do is the presser notes today, news and transfer bits, and also, talking about DCL as well, as he is officially signed. So yeah, listen, people, all good. Yeah, live and direct, man. I'm good. Johnny in the house. Have a good weekend. It's going to be a great weekend, people. And listen, Premier League starting also as well. If you haven't joined my FPL league, the link is in the description. Join if you're looking to have some fun. I'm going to try and sort a prize for the end of the season. I always say that, but I will try this season for sure. Well, he did say that, Jacob. We'll get into that in just a moment. But listen, people, let's start with this. Before we get into the presser notes, because Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Farke kind of let it out the bag in the presser. I think he wasn't trying to, but then he just, I think he just said, you know what, he's here. All right, we've worked with him today. He signed, and I'm happy for him to be here. So I think they moved the announcement on the official socials probably by a couple of hours, because we know what we're like, man. We like to announce things at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. I think that with him saying what he said, it kind of just pushed the announcement forward. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin is here. And we always go to the players' comments. The press release is the press release. He signed here, blah blah blah. It's a massive football club. He signed a 3-year deal. People don't know how anyone feels about that. That's a big commitment on both ends. Obviously, there will be clauses in there if things go wrong, of course, but and reductions in wages if things go wrong. But 3 years is quite the commitment. In terms of that for both sides, in all honesty. But Leeds United have bolstered their attacking options with the sign of England international. Very loose with that England international, right? DCL, who joins the club after a long spell in the Premier League with Everton. He signed a 3-year deal. I'm very excited. It is like walking in today like a first day at school. I feel like a kid again, and that is starting somewhere new, and I just can't wait to play and represent the football club. A lot of bingo in here, a lot of bingo, people. For me, it's a massive football club. There's the biggest bingo one of all, with a massive fan base. There you go. You're just clicking them all off. I've played at Ellen Road before, and I remember thinking how loud the fans were and how good the fans were. Is really something I really wanted to be a part of. I also spoke to the manager prior to this, and we had a really good conversation, and he was a centre forward himself. Farke will tell you that as well. Okay. So life is a centre forward, blah, blah, blah. And just the way the team set up and the way that we set up last season was really attractive to me. A couple of players have said that when they've signed this summer. Yeah. We'll get into that a bit later. Yeah. I've been in the Premier League a while now, so I think people are pretty familiar with my game. But I also think there are other aspects to my game that I can bring that maybe I haven't brought enough of. I'm looking forward to unlocking that and continuing the things that I'm good at, but also bringing new aspects and facets to my game. So I'm looking forward to just seeing Ellen Road in full force through a different lens, as a Leeds player. And interestingly enough, which I don't know if this is going to happen, people, but Zinny Boswell did add this. He has been registered in time to make his debut against Everton. So if he is fit, which I highly doubt it without a full preseason behind him, he may make the bench, who knows, but he is eligible to play Monday night. So he could literally come on, like a few of you have been saying, 90 plus 6 minute Calvert-Lewin winner under the lights. You never know. So listen, Calvert-Lewin is here, people, and that's what it is. There was some promising stuff from Farke in the conference notes. Let's do that next. Let's go into the conference notes next, because there wasn't a lot, and I'll explain why in a bit. Bogle's fitness will be a late call after the final 4 training sessions before Monday night. So we don't know if Bogle will be, starting that game against Everton. I hope he does, but we'll see how he gets on. DCL's arrival is a step on the right path in terms of strengthening the offensive area, says Farke. He adds that more signings are required if Leeds are to survive in the Premier League. He's not expected to lose any of the current squad before Monday, but admits things can change quickly. Farke not ruling out another striker being signed, but also says the winger area is important to strengthen. Yeah, we are if he's fit FC. That's what we've turned into. But what I will say in what Farke was saying in this portion of it was that he is looking for another striker, and he did mention that the records of Mecha and DCL in recent years require probably another striker coming in. He doesn't want the position overloaded with loads of players because people get unhappy. Understand that. But he says with the injury records of the 2 players mentioned in Mecha and DCL, it will be important for Leeds United to sign another striker. Now, to me, people, yes, Chris, absolutely. I like how he's sticking to his guns regarding transfers. I do hope that means I might see this. Might see this. Chiesa, I mean, you just add into the he might be fit FC there. But yeah, listen, it does sound like we are going to be in for another forward before the window shuts, which is really encouraging. And obviously, depend on it. If it's that Greek striker, then it is what it is, isn't it? But if you're talking Mitro, then that's a good mix down the bottom. And I'll explain why when we do the predictions, because you have to look outside the Leeds bubble, as I always encourage you to do. And it's not going to be pretty at the bottom, but there's ways and means, people. There's ways and means. But yeah, DCL is here, 3-year deal. Look, you've just seen if the Leeds United socials have posted out a video compilation of him, a lot of those goals are old. There's a lot in empty stadiums in the previous life during that era where he actually got one less than Bamford. But this is now, if he's keeping himself fit, I don't want to say it because everyone said it. If he stays fit, who knows what he may add, but he will add a different dimension to what we've got. But as I've said previously, we've got Jack Harrison here, who he was also asked about in the press conference in terms of everyone in the group has accepted him again. He's working really hard and he's a hard worker. He's got Premier League experience, blah, blah, blah. But Harrison was one half of the problem in why DCL wasn't scoring so many goals, according to people with the way Everton have played. So we've actually got half of that problem at the football club. So, but again, we'll see with Jack Harrison if he's still here by the end of the window. But with everything that he's been added in, and I'm talking about the club social media post with the how to pronounce your name and the way Danny Farke's speaking about him, the odds are that Jack Harrison will be here, especially if we don't sign another forward. Hyru here, don't do this to me. And we're going to speak about Sunderland because I think they're out of here, I got to say. Mitrovic going to Sunderland, no, please, no. Christo adding here, I don't think Farke wants Harrison here, but not much he can do. Yeah, it's one of those where I think if a deal comes up that suits all 3 parties, then yeah, it's one of those that he will leave. I just don't think this will be his first choice. I really don't. And we know, as I say with everything, football is so fickle. If Harrison scores 2 goals on Monday against Everton, all of a sudden I can see what Harrison's going to bring for the rest of the season. We know how it goes, people, with the general football fan. So it doesn't take much. But there's been no evidence of that so far. OC Baseball here say maybe you can take our pens instead of Strauch. Well, yeah, I mean, he'll be a much better penalty taker. But listen, Strauch, in terms of what Farke was saying today, because he was asked about the Biol thing in terms of is it frustrating that he's suspended, but Farke gave the absolutely correct answer in that those are the rules and we were aware of them from the start. So there's no, uproar with that, but he will be in contention when he's back from suspension. I do think that it will be Biol and Rodon to be our main centre-back pairing with Strauch as possibly the rotation option. So maybe Strauch won't even be on the pitch when we do get penalties. If we get penalties, they've also saying in regards to the penalty rule in that they're going to be looking at holding. But we've seen in the Community Shield, I should say, Charity Shield hype, in regards to a handball that wasn't given against Liverpool, it doesn't matter about VAR. It's if they've got the cojones to give the decision or not, because it's handball for absolutely nearly every other team in the league. But they were like, oh, well, it wasn't quite like not by his body. I mean, it was a penalty, mate. But it's all about if they give decisions. Is Van Dijk holding someone different to Joe Rodon holding somebody? Probably. But we will see throughout the season how it weighs up, won't we? But yeah, so listen, also that's what I liked about Farke in the press conference. I love what he said in regards to needing more in terms of, you know, a fight for survival. Absolutely. The one thing I didn't like was that he doesn't feel he needs to prove himself. And then he went on for like, it felt like maybe 15, 20 minutes in regards to his time at Norwich. And it would be very interesting when he does eventually leave Leeds United, how honest he is when he goes to his next job, because he was letting out a clip, man. He loaded up the gun and just said, because he was just saying all kinds of madness in terms of Norwich, and in that we were never meant to be promoted. Yeah, we can spend money on a defender or striker, but we still need more. You know, we already accept we're going down and everything else like that. That's a mad talk, you know, for a previous job. And maybe he's correct in that, because I do think that there's other things during this window that he would have been happier with. I do. But he was going on that he doesn't have anything to prove. And I highly, highly disagree with that. Really highly disagree with that in terms of he does have a lot to prove, because it wasn't just recruitment. And I keep saying this over and over again. It was also his tactical setup, which was nowhere near for what that Norwich team could carry out. It was nowhere near it. That's why they got battered week in, week out, hammered week after week. And it was getting ugly and uglier as the weeks went on. So that is something that he does have to prove. He definitely has to prove that he's got different tactical plans for different teams, and that he can actually make the step up to the Premier League. Because whether he likes it or not, but I mean, he also did say this, when you attach relegation, it's attached to his name. He does have that to prove, whether he likes that or not. So listen, go into this, Daniel, with the belief that you can, you know, survive, of course, but also that you've got a chip on your shoulder, man. People with the that do the most have got a chip on their shoulder. Pep Guardiola, when he fails one year, he comes back with a chip on his shoulder, no matter what. You're never too big for that. So I do hope that internally he believes he got something to prove, because otherwise that could be dangerous, man. Yeah, maybe so, Julian. You could be right here. I think Farke will have something to prove to himself, but doesn't want to give the clickbait headlines. That's a good point. It could be that. Could be that, man. And Ali, yeah, I mean, this is it as well. They lost 15 games on the bounce, unacceptable, no matter what team you had. That's correct. It's honestly, it was unacceptable. It really was. There's no defending that. It doesn't matter what team you put out. You paper it up. You stop it with a draw somewhere. You know, I'm sure that in that run there was games where they could have got a draw. But I saw them when they were setting up and they were asking, what was his name again? What's the left back called? I know Max Aarons. What's the other one? Lewis. They were so high up the pitch, and Ben Godfrey was playing high up like he was Van Dijk in a Liverpool system. You just can't do that. It was just not acceptable. So yeah, hopefully he would have learned from that. Absolutely. Tom here, just going on DCL here. For me, it's 100% panic buy. I can see him in the next couple of games doing his hammy again. Listen, he's going to get injured. You know, it's as simple as that. He will be injured at some point. And absolutely, look, Zinni put it out first time, didn't he? That Zinni Boswell, in regards to DCL, not each other's first choice, but they need each other at this time. Literally, he must have got word from the club's PR. Hey, can you adjust this, please? Because, you know, it looks crazy what you've just put there. And he adjusted it maybe, what was it, 20 minutes later? It is, I think it's a marriage of convenience at this point. I do. I think that if Calvert-Lewin earlier in this window, people, was linked with Newcastle, Man United, and a couple of other teams. Obviously, his wages were just too high for what he had previously put in the previous years, which has not been good. I'm not going, guys. I'm not just going to dress it up just because he's actually signed out. I hope for the best with him, and if we can get the very best out of him, awesome. But the last few years for Calvert-Lewin have not been amazing, which is probably why he didn't find himself at Newcastle or Man United, even on a free transfer. But at this point in time, we haven't got the targets that we want. At this point, there could be another one, Mitrovic, and we're waiting for the end of the window. But now it's a good opportunity for both to come together and see what we've got. right? And that's what it is for me at this point. And absolutely, he's here now. Let's get behind him. As always, with every player that size. Listen, I always even say it when Bamford plays. Let me just get some water because, you know. Yeah, I think 3 years is kind of mad too, but I think there'll be clauses and breaks in that if things go wrong. I do believe that. But I always say, even with Bamford, because I know you guys know me, I don't rate Bamford one bit. But when he plays, I want him to score. You know, there's no agenda from me. I'm aware that he's going to have his Bamford minions come in my chat. Oh, what you say now about Bamford? I can take all of that. But as long as you've got the shirt on and you're doing well, don't care. Doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter if I would have gone in a different direction. Once they're out there, I'm cheering them all on, man. It's as simple as that for me. Uh, Mike saying here, very curious about the wage structure we agreed to. Surely they'd be smart about it. No, well, they would have to be. They'd have to be, especially in light of his injury record and everything else like that. I mean, we got word of what Callum Wilson, West Ham have done with that in terms of it being an incentive-based deal. Don't think we've done that. I think it will be maybe a straightforward contract. I don't think it's going to be pay as you play. I think they would have mentioned that in the press release as well. But yeah, I think it's going to be one where I think both sides will probably protect themselves in the deal. But yeah, 3 years, it's a big commitment. I will say that, big commitment. But yeah, you know, shout out to him. We'll see if he's available Monday night. But again, we'll talk about that in the actual preview. Someone else who could be coming in, which has been, you know, very heavily rumored at this point, is James Justin. I think it's a discussion just about the fee. He's got a year left on his deal, and I think it could be around maybe 5 to 6 million. Which is decent enough in terms of his experience and his talent. Again, you know, from what I was looking at earlier in the window, I didn't have James Justin on my bingo card, but yeah, at this stage, with his experience and his talent level and the way that he can get forward, and he's not a bad defender as well, by the way, but yeah, it's one that I'm happy with. You know, I'm good with. And I promise you, I'm not convincing myself, because I do like James Justin, but again, he's got a checkered injury history, but I think he's done pretty well over the last couple of years in regards to his fitness. So yeah, I think this one will probably be done over the weekend in terms of that. Okay, yep. So, yep, right. So no one's talking about James Justin. No problem. The other one from Leicester, though, El Khannouss, that expires tonight at midnight, people. The release clause that he has expires tonight. So if we want him at a good transfer fee, then it's got to be this one. It's got to be tonight. Otherwise, Leicester will want to negotiate for whatever they can get in terms of this player. So if they are serious about it, go in and get him tonight. And really, as simple as that. There's no ifs and buts about it, because after tonight, I think Leicester will look for the better deal. And listen, it could be a case where after today, if teams don't go in for him, maybe Leicester will be more flexible with a higher fee, but with a more acceptable payment structure for the buying team. Maybe they'd accept it over a longer period than this, whatever they're looking for with this release clause. But yeah, this is midnight is tonight, people. So we'll know if El Khannouss will be at Leeds United for sure after today, man. Hyru here, yeah, cheaper and better than Hutchinson. Forest got fees. We're gonna speak about that as well. Yeah, some people are not feeling like we're going to get him tonight. Yeah, that's all we can do, though. We can only see. Maybe they relook at Gus Harmer. I don't know, but yeah, El Khannouss, that's the latest with him. Elan Meslier, this one came out yesterday, but I've missed it completely. Joe Donahue, obviously ex-YEP, is saying that Elan Meslier has been offered around clubs in Europe for about 5 to 6 million this summer. Player is expected to leave after becoming third in the goalkeeping pecking order at Leeds United. And yeah, no surprise for me. I think if the club get 5 to 6 million, I think at this point they'd be doing really well. I'm sure they're probably looking at last summer with Marseille and thinking, God, we should have accepted that offer. When it's written in the stars, it was plain to see what this goalkeeper was going to be. There's a few articles out now saying about how much his value's plummeted over the last couple of years. It's all true, though. It's all true. But anything we make on Meslier at this stage anyway is pure profit on the book. So it doesn't matter what he goes for, because his fee would have been amortized by now. So yeah, I think Elan Meslier, I think Fabregas is looking at him at Como. PSG are also probably looking at him as a backup goalkeeper. Maybe prefer to be second choice there behind Chevalier. But yeah, it looks like Illan Meslier will be going, and we do need some more money in the doors. I've got to say, I mean, even at this point of the window, we've got a little bit left, but man, we haven't brought in near enough money as I thought we would. But yeah, it is what it is at this stage. But yeah, Meslier looking to leave and should be gone for around 5 million. And as someone said in regards to Forest, they're about to sign. I think they're about to sign 4 players. Callum Wendo, I think, is done now. James McAtee, Amari Hutchinson, and Douglas Luiz. And Nuno said today that Forest is still not done. How nice is that, by the way? I can't wait. If we survive, I can't wait to be in these positions where you sign in players at, you know, those kind of levels, bar Hutchinson for me, and you say, you know what, we're still not complete. Can't wait for those days, people. Let's hope we get them. But yeah, they're, you know, when you talk about 37.5 million, that's insane for Hutchinson. Insane. But if Forest think he's worth that to them, cool. But the reason why I bring that up is because maybe that now leaves Delane Bakwa as free to, you know, not free to get, but as available now, because it seemed that he was very close to Forest. And by the way, I just want to say now, that's how you do it, what Forest are doing, and many other clubs have done. I've mentioned Marseille previously, even Fenerbahce, Besiktas as well. You see what they've done. Delane Bakwa, they were negotiating, but they were also negotiating with Hutchinson. So they had a couple of irons in the fire, and whichever one is ready to go, they'd go with that one. And I think that's what they've done here, unless they get Bakwa as well, which would be unbelievable, because I think they're still signing Hudson-Odoi to a new contract. But that's what you're supposed to do, man. You're not supposed to just go tunnel vision with one and that's it. That's what I feel Leeds United should have done better this summer, I've got to say. But that's how Forest have done it, and fair play to him. It looks like they've got it done with Hutchinson. But look, Bakwa could be free now. Matt, I'm just about to bring him up. Here we are. Thankfully, people, Ben Doak will not be coming to Leeds United. You know, I can only do so much in terms of just smiling through stuff. But for me, 25 million for him. Good luck to Bournemouth. Obviously, you know, they've got a little history with this before in terms of Solanke previously, Jordan Ibe, you know, they've seemed to have a good relationship with Liverpool, no matter who's at the top. But Ben Doak will not be coming to Leeds United. Thankfully, he's going to Bournemouth. And, you know, under Iraola, maybe he can get more out of him. And that's the caveat with this kind of thing. I don't think we've got the coach in the Premier League to all of a sudden make Ben Doak a world beater. Maybe under Iraola, he can do that because he is a coach's coach. But yeah, good luck to him at Bournemouth. 25 million. Liverpool, they've done it again. All right. They've done it again. It's mad. It's absolutely insane. But it just shows you the market value of some of these players. Hutchinson, 37.5 million. That's crazy to me. But 25 million for Ben Doak, it's that Liverpool thing off it, isn't it? Oh, he's come from Liverpool. Let's pay a little bit more. But yeah, we're not going to be involved in that. Yeah, and I agree with that as well. He will get more out of it. So yeah, what have we got next? So we got that next. Sunderland. Shoring up their defense even more. Granit Xhaka's ex-teammate on loan at Leverkusen this past season. Mukile is going to Sunderland from PSG. Very, very good signing. Once again, you know, Sunderland's business. People can say it's overrated. You say what you want, but they are literally going for it, man. And fair play to him. They've shored up the attack. Maybe they could do with another striker. Maybe they believe in Gui. Maybe they do. But yeah, they've literally sorted every position at their football club. Great stuff by them. And look, it might not work. It might not work, people, but they are giving themselves the best possible chance to survive. And I commend it, man. I commend it. So listen, fair play to Sunderland, adding to their defensive ranks. And I'm sure Granit Xhaka would have had a little hand in that as well. Fair play to him. Mad Max is saying Sunderland doing business and are so close to our team now. Chris, I mean, yeah, listen, we'll see, won't we? We'll see. It's a conversation. I'm willing to talk about it when we do our predictions in just a moment. What else have we got here? Danny Farke, James Justin, blah, blah, blah. Khannouss, Meslier, done that one. Calvert-Lewin, we've spoken about him. There's nothing else. Okay, so I think now, I mean, we can carry on with anything else if anything else comes up. But let's go in Yeah. All we can hope for is signing a bunch of new players won't work, but it's definitely hopium. For sure it is. For sure. And listen, there's hope with everything, man. Listen, I always try and come from a logical standpoint, always. But I've got some hope in what I say as well. I'm not, I'm still a fan at the end of the day. Even though I look at football very differently from a lot of people, I've still got that fan in me that says, maybe. All right. Now, listen, I'm not going to do the whole 1 to 20. No one cares who's going to finish 11th, 12th. No one cares. What I've got is champions 2 to 3, 4 to 5, because those are the Champions League places, 15th, 16th, 17th, and of course, 18th, 19th, 20th. Now, what I will say in this, again, it's fun. All right. Don't take offense to it. Don't get your knickers in a bunch. It's just predictions, people. And again, we'll revisit this once the window closes, because by then as well, we'll know where everything is in terms of the squad. We'll have a few results behind us as well. So it could look differently. But I want to do this before the season kicks off, which obviously is Liverpool Bournemouth tonight. So yeah. Vega here saying here, giving everyone 100 to 150 a week can't be good. They won't be doing that, Vega. That's what people are saying in regards to the wages. Not everybody is going to be on that kind of money. Some of the youngsters that they were signing will not be on that kind of money. In terms of a Habib Diarra, he's not going to be on anything near that. Maybe a Xhaka will be in that bracket, but Sunderland have also got to abide by PSR rules as well, and their wages have got to match. So it's not like maybe they're looking at it and saying, look, we'll take a 4-point deduction if it comes. Cool. But they're not going to be spending 150 on every player. Not even Tottenham can do that. So if people are really thinking Sunderland are doing that, again, that's more hopium for you. So, yeah, Slim, you know what it is? It's because I don't want to put too much into it. You know what I mean? I was literally, like I put in the post earlier, I was gonna do a whole video, but then I got setting it up and I went, I don't want to separate this from another video. Let me just roll it into something else. So that's what I'm going to do now. And listen, let's just do it. Let's just do it in terms of this. And there's different ones as well. Some people literally just do the top 4 and relegation. So yeah, it's a little bit different, but I am different in all kinds of ways, people. That's another thing as well, people. Just quickly on this as well. In the comments, I love when you guys big me up. Of course I do. Everyone loves a compliment. I'm not immune to criticism as well, but everyone loves a compliment. But what I want to say is don't bring down other creators to bring me up, because then it kind of cancels out the compliment, and I will remove it as well. You don't need to talk badly about other creators in the Leeds United space to big me up. Just big me up. I take it. But when you're talking down on others, listen, other people as well, by the way, obviously have a successful formula, because a lot of people go to the channel, so it obviously works. But you don't need to bring them down in order to bring me up. So let me just say that. Big me up, but don't bring other people's down, people. Ed here, would you like our predictions? Yeah, put them in the chat, man. And listen, if you're watching afterwards, or even if you've watched in the chat and you want them in the comments so you can go back to them later at a later date, put them in the comments after as well. Absolutely. So yeah, champions, what am I going to go with here? I am going to go with a Man City remontada and Pep to reclaim the crown. Let's go. I just think with Pep and what Man City have brought in, I like what they've brought in terms of Eight Nori, moving Guardiola to centre back. I think Haaland's going to be rejuvenated. I think Cherky will be a very good signing behind him, as well as Reinders. I like what they've got, and obviously Rodri will be back at some point. I know he's re-injured at this point in time. Goalkeeper may be a bit of a sticky one. Ederson's on his way out. It's going to be between Trafford, maybe Donnarumma's coming in. That's a really good signing. So I'm going to go Man City. What say you? Okay, Liverpool, I understand. Yeah, I understand. Man City will run them close. Haaland will be firing. I believe that too. And Liverpool, yeah. So Slim going with Arsenal, yeah. Finally to get it this year. No more second places. Interesting. Sparky is saying here in regards to Liverpool, he thinks they've made too much changes in formation and in personnel. Jazz here with Leeds. That's tremendous. Yeah, I think he's got the potential to be more of a Mahrez for me. I think there's still big question marks over Doku personally, but you see what they've got. They've got other players that can fit in and slot in those areas. So And I think they're also after Rodrigo from Real Madrid. So they could possibly add a little bit more quality to that team, which then makes their bench even stronger. And I like what's the Moroccan guy's name, people? Please help me out in the chat. Oh my God. Mamouche. I got it. Mamouche. I like him as well. So I'm going to go with a pep remontada and for them to reclaim the crown. Second, I'm going to go Liverpool. And again, that's probably a little bit of hope because I don't want to see him win it again. But also as well, just on the basis of a couple of changes. I know they've strengthened from a position of strength as well with Wirtz and Ekitike. They could be getting Isak in the door. I do wonder about them defensively, though. Gotta say, I think that maybe their defense might need a little bit of work, and maybe it gets stronger throughout the season. Maybe it changes once Gravenberch comes back in, and then they look even stronger. But I'm going to go with Liverpool second. I think they'll still be close. I think it'll be a good race, but I'm going to go with that. He's Egyptian, isn't he? My bad. City, Liverpool look vulnerable in defense. People going Arsenal second. Wirtz and Salah will dominate a fee. Yeah. Mad Max, let's go. So yeah, second. Third, I'm going to go with, this might surprise people, Chelsea. Hope no Arsenal fans are going to watch this. I just like what Chelsea have done this summer in terms of adding to what they've already got. Maybe they've got two big question marks. They need another defender. Well, they don't need another defender. If you look at their defensive depth, by the way, the fact that they're going to go for another centre back is crazy because they've already got Tosin in reserve. They got Fofana in reserve and somebody else, Badashili, not really keen on him. But to think they're going to probably add another centre back to that because of Colwell's injury is mad. And that's the luxuries of being a Big Six team, right? I think they could do well with replacing Sanchez in goal, but I do think with everything else they've got on the pitch in terms of Enzo, Caicedo, Palmer, the two forwards, João Pedro, Delap in reserve. There's a lot to like about Chelsea, and I think they've added some really, really good stuff in terms of getting further up the table this season. And I think they're going to finish third for me. I hear it though. I hear it in terms of Sanchez. He ain't it for me either. But again, in terms of Reece James being fit again, Cucurella is one of the best left backs in the league for me. There's a lot to like there. A lot to like at Chelsea. So yeah, I'm going to go with them third. Mad Max is saying Chelsea making no waves this season so far, quietly doing their stuff. Yeah, and listen, recent world champions as well. That's feel that they kind of carry that into the season as well. This again, just my predictions. That's all. That's it. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. But yeah, so let's have a look here. What we saying here? Yeah, I was Chris. Talked about him a while ago. Yeah, it's what I do. It's what I do, Chris. You know me. Nabino here saying all the DCL media is coming out right now, by the way. In what way? Do you mean people talk about the signing or the official account? Let me know. Mad Max here, fourth, Arsenal, and that is where I am going. I think Arsenal. It's an interesting one for me. I know they've added Gyökeres to the attack. And I do like their defense, and even Raya, I like that a lot. But for me, it's probably more just the style of play. I think that maybe with Arteta, I don't know if he's got enough in him. And again, I like a lot of what they've done as well. Norgard, for me, he was one of my number one signings for Leeds United when we come up. If we could have taken Norgard from Brentford, that would have been amazing business. And, for them to get him for like £10 million is tremendous. Zubimendi in there, it looks all good. For me, question marks on the left-hand side in terms of Martinelli, even Madueke over there. Is Trossard going to leave? I don't know. I don't know what it is. But for me, I think Arsenal slipped down this season. Don't know what it is. Can't explain it. Can't put it in words because everything you should be saying, they should be in the second to third spot. But for me, I think Arsenal take a little bit of a step back and then finish fourth. Hyru, if Arsenal finish fourth, you think Arteta gets sacked? I don't know, in all honesty, because from the outside looking in, just when you look at Arsenal, it seems that their owners are just very happy with finishing Champions League places. I don't know if he'd actually get sacked if they don't win a cup this year, because you've got to think they've spent nearly £900 million since Arteta's taken over. That's a lot of money for them to have delivered one FA Cup, and that was off the back of Unai Emery's team as well, to boot. So I don't know. Honestly, don't know if he'd get sacked or not. Yeah, Arteta ball. Yeah, man, it's a bit mad. It's a bit mad. Yeah, JJ. You think they give it to the set piece coach like Brentford? Tremendous. We'll speak about them in a bit. Lee as well. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tight season, champs and relegation. Me too as well, by the way. I think it's going to be exciting for the top teams, nerve-wracking for the bottom teams, but I think there's going to be much more excitement than last season, because I'll repeat again, people, last season's Premier League was atrocious, both quality-wise, both the jeopardy in the spots when, as Danny Farke said himself, teams were basically relegated by February, March. It was poor last season, really, really poor in terms of the quality and excitement aspect. The season was dead. So I do think it's going to be much, much better this season for sure. Okay, so moving on to fifth. I am going to go. Unai Emery's Aston Villa. I'm going to go Aston Villa with this one, with Forest just on the outside, as the saying goes. Listen, fifth, it could be a toss-up here, but again, I believe in Unai Emery and his coaching. I think them missing out on Champions League will probably be not a better thing for them in terms of the league assault, but I just like what they're going to do, and they've got more additions coming as well this summer with them selling Jacob Ramsey, even though that they're saying that they can't replace him outright because that's to satisfy PSR. They're looking to bring back Asensio in the team as well. Some of you saying here, what we saying? Vega saying Forest, Nidar saying Villa, Mad Max saying Newcastle, Hyra saying wow at the Villa, AFV, yep, saying Villa fifth as well. Yeah. And literally, it could be anybody in those spots. I don't think Man United are going to have enough to just jump over the league. And again, if Man United or Tottenham do finish in the top five, and other teams take that big of a step back, it also tells you about the quality of the league overall. They shouldn't be able to jump from the seasons that they had with the bottom three finishing with the low point totals that they did and finishing above. But it could happen. It absolutely could happen in terms of what Man United have added in terms of Mbeumo, Seshko, and who's the other one, Cunha, to the mix. Of course it can happen. Of course it can happen for them. But yeah, I think it might be a bit too much. Yeah, me too, Vega. That's why I've got them 6. Okay, I haven't put 6 up here, but I do like what Forest have done in the window as well. And maybe they could be 5th. Maybe it will change by the next prediction come the end of the window. But yeah. Okay. No, JTix. We ain't doing all that. We ain't doing all that. 6 to 14th hype. Who cares? Who cares? Well, maybe we'll do that. I tell you what. Seeing as you seem to like that, we'll do that in the second one come the end of the window. Yeah, I'll expand it a bit more. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. But yeah, let's move on to where we're gonna be looking at in the table. Yeah, where we're gonna be 15th, 16th, 17th. Okay, now 15th. Everton. I'm gonna put Everton safely in 15th. I think under David Moyes. There's no doubt about it for me. They're going to stay where they are in the Premier League. Don't see them getting relegated, and they've added some really good players. Not just Grealish, Dewsbury Hall is a really good signing as well. Pickford in goal will always save you points. He's guaranteed to do that. He's just a top goalkeeper in this day and age. Got to say that with that caveat. But yeah, I'm going to put Everton 15th. So what say you people? Okay, people saying Bournemouth 15th. Mad Max saying Fulham 15th. Yeah, I just couldn't find one with just Premier League badges. Maybe I will. Nabino here saying totally fair. They always get out of jail. Yeah, absolutely. So 16th, I'm going Accrington Stanley. No, I'm going Sunderland, people. Again, could work, might not, but I just feel with what Sunderland have added. Again, I heard that lazy trope from. But you expect it from presenters because they don't watch football or take in context. But again, the people talk about Sunderland finishing 24 points behind Leeds and everything else like that. No caveat in that we've also lost 2 big components of that team in Firpo, Solomon, and Sunderland basically were on the beach for the last 6-7 games of the season, as they knew they weren't getting top two. But I do think with everything that they've added, and if it all works out the way I think it will under Reggie Lebris, and they probably will add more as well, I think they're going to be competitive enough to finish 16th in the table in this table. What say you? Ian saying no way they'll finish bottom two. Mad Max here saying Everton 16th, Wolves 17th. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that, Max. So yeah, all right. So we'll move on then to the next bit. No, 15th, 16th, 17th. Right. Okay. Now, people, here we go. Where is Cage going to put him? And where are you going to put him in the live chat? At this point in time, people, at this point in time, I'm putting us 17th. Let me explain. Jacob, yes, they have. They've signed Roofs. They've signed the young goalkeeper. Is that head or heart, KG? Well, there's a bit of hope in there, but also you've got to look outside of the bubble. And basically, people, where we're going to finish, it's going to be ugly. It doesn't matter if we finish 17th. It's going to be tough. This is going to be a rough season for everybody at the bottom of the table. Everyone, including us. But what I'm looking at in terms of what we've got over who I'm going to mention for 18th, so let me just put them here now, is Wolves. And trust me, people, I've been flipping and flopping Leeds and Wolves pretty much since I've been doing this, thinking about this prediction. The reason why you need to look outside of the bubble and look at what Wolves have currently got. Wolves at this point in time, people, and I include their coach in there, are not set up very well. I like Strand Larson. I like him a lot, but I could also probably equate him to being a Peru at this point. They've lost a lot of top talent and are trying to replace them with bits and pieces. I know they've got another right back coming as well, but I think that I do think that they could be relegated. I do. I think that Wolves could be the ones to take that spot. But listen, people, I'm saying this as well. I honestly think that we could be 18th as well at this stage. I just think with what we've built in terms of, I'm looking at the strengths of our team, which is going to be Perry in goal, which is going to be Biol, Roden at the back, Ampadu, Stack, Tanaka. I'm looking at that solid base that we've got and thinking that could be enough to get us a few more draws than maybe Wolves will possibly get and take us out of the bottom three. That's what I'm saying at this point in time. People saying the Heat's playing with my head. Trust me, AFV, if I didn't look at Wolves squad the way I did today, I'd have probably put us in the bottom three for sure. But when you deep it and look at it, don't just look at what we haven't done this summer. And again, I'm not totally happy with what we've done this summer. It's not the way I would have built the team, and certainly not for some of the personnel we've brought in. But when you compare it to what other people have got at this point, as we sit here today on the 15th of August, it's not that much worse, or it's probably on par with some of these teams that have lost a lot of talent over this past couple of years and haven't replaced them properly. So again, I'm not saying it's going to be comfortable, and I can easily be convinced to switch either or in 17th and 18th, but that's where I see it at this point in time. Okay, that's where I see it at this point. Who else have I got next for 19th? I've got Brentford, and I'll just finish it off. I've got Burnley. I've got Wolves, Brentford, Burnley as my bottom three at this point. So look, would I take it? Would I take it at this 17th? We'll finish 17th with what we've got and what we've signed. That's an amazing achievement. And I hope that, and listen, I hope Danny Farke is the one to do it. I hope it doesn't take 7-8 games of us doing poorly and then changing the manager in order for us to survive. That wouldn't be ideal. Let's hope Danny Farke is here for it. But when we're talking quality of managers as well, people, we are in the lower end of that in terms of coaches. There's no doubt about that. And when you look at it in terms of Premier League, but I do think that we've got a good chance of surviving with what we've built out. Now, Danny Farke again said that we need fullbacks. He's absolutely right. James Justin could come in. We need another to add with it. Do not leave that to chance with Byram, because again, we come to the end of the window. That could possibly change my mind also, especially if Goodmanson or Bogle are out for a prolonged period of time. So yeah, let's see what people are saying. Mad Max say take 17th all day long. As it stands, I see Brentford 100% down. Wolves could come together as a team, as Aston Villa did, but it's 50-50. Difference is, though, Ed, and it's, again, it's opinions. It's just fun, isn't it? But Aston Villa was signing players that were literally climbing them up the table. They were signing Douglas Luiz's. They were signing Kamara's. They were signing players of that ilk that were helping them push up the table. Wolves have not done that. So you need to go and look at Wolves to know the totality of what I'm saying here, and you'll probably understand why it can easily be flipped between Wolves and Leeds for those spots. Yeah, Isaac as well. Do you think West Ham will be dragged into a relegation battle? I do. I think that they could easily be down there as well. I'm not convinced with Graham Potter, but I've always said that on this channel. I think there's a lot of hype behind him. I think he plays decent football, but you saw once he left Brighton, De Zerbi with pretty much the same squad got more out of him. And you've seen it at Chelsea, tough to compete, but Maresca's done it, you know. And then you look at West Ham now, Moisey, all the stick Moyes got. All the stick Moyes got, and look what he did. He got him a trophy and got him nowhere near the relegation zone. So yeah, I do think West Ham could be in a bit of bother. And listen, some West Ham fans think they could get relegated, but we'll see. The thing with West Ham, what they've got for me is Bowen, and he is what you call a difference maker for me. He's one where he will always keep that team on his back. Fulkrug looks fit and healthy and ready to go. But Bowen, for me, is that when you're down the bottom, you need those players like when we had Rafinha that can just get you those points or just get you out, drag you out of the dust. Jared Bowen does that for West Ham. So that's why I think they might be okay. But yeah, I think Potter might see the chop at some point for sure. Yeah, he is definitely the Stardust, 100%. Jared Bowen, people always say it to me, oh, but if his name was Dominic Calvert-Lewin, you'd love him. Jared Bowen is one of those for me where I think if he was a foreign player, putting in the goals and assists that he does, he'd probably get a little bit more respect. But I think he's pretty much set at West Ham, you know, the whole Danny Dyer thing as well. Don't think he's allowed out that contract. So yeah. So it's one of those. But listen, people, it's all fun. So there you go. I will do a more complete table for you guys. I see you guys want the full complete table. We'll do that when the window shuts. After the window shuts, we'll do the whole thing then. And by then as well, the window will be closed. Some games would have been played. Maybe minds would have changed. Maybe, but that's what it is, man. Just a bit of fun. At the end of the day, the football is played on the pitch, not via predictions, not via paper. And we will see what we've got, won't we? We'll see what we've got. So yeah, that is it, people. And I think we've ended it before 50 minutes. Not bad. But listen, people, we will be back with the preview. And listen, if anything breaks in terms of transfers, I will be back as well. No problem, no doubt about that. But I'm guessing the preview will be Sunday. We'll get into that, predictions, team lineups, and everything else. Guys, it's been a pleasure today. DCL in the building. Drop your thoughts on anything discussed and your predictions, your very early predictions as well in the comments. See you in the next one. Peace out.